Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point in life when you realize that being nice is not the same as being kind. Being nice often means saying yes when your heart is screaming no. It means carrying a smile when deep down you are tired, broken, or hurting. It means trying to please everyone, even when it costs you your own peace. And the truth is, no matter how nice you try to be, there will always be people who take advantage of your silence, your softness, and your goodness. Being nice often means saying yes when your heart wants to say no, and that is one of the most dangerous habits a person can fall into. It starts small, almost invisible. Someone asks you for a favor, and even though you are exhausted, you say yes. A friend needs something, and even though your own plate is full, you say yes. Your family expects you to be available, and even when your body is begging for rest, you say yes. Day after day, the pattern repeats. On the surface, it looks like generosity, it looks like kindness, but deep inside you know the truth. You are not saying yes because you want to. You are saying yes because you are afraid of disappointing others, afraid of being judged, afraid of being left out. This is not kindness, this is self-abandonment. When you say yes while your heart is whispering no, you are teaching yourself that your feelings do not matter. You are teaching yourself that your needs are less important than everyone else's. Slowly you start losing your voice, because you silence it every time it dares to speak. You start losing your energy, because you give it away to things that don't align with your soul. You start losing your sense of self, because you are living a life that belongs to everyone else except you. That is the hidden cost of always being nice. The world often praises those who are agreeable, those who are easy to deal with, those who never complain. People call them sweet, humble, caring. And yes, on the surface these sound like compliments. But when these labels are built on your inability to set boundaries, they become chains. You become trapped in an image that is not even yours, trapped in a character that others have written for you. You are living someone else's script, not your own. There is a huge difference between kindness and being nice. Kindness comes from strength. It comes from choice. Kindness says, I will help you, but I will not destroy myself in the process. Niceness, on the other hand, comes from fear. Niceness says, I will help you, even if it breaks me, because I'm scared you won't like me if I don't. Can you feel the difference? One comes from a place of empowerment, the other from a place of insecurity. One builds you, the other destroys you. So many people carry the weight of unwanted yeses on their shoulders. They go to gatherings they never wanted to attend. They lend money they cannot afford to give. They agree to projects that leave them drained. Later they sit alone with resentment, wondering why they feel so unseen, so unheard, so unloved. But how can the world hear your no if you never allow yourself to speak it? How can people respect your boundaries if you never show them where those boundaries are? Silence is not respect, silence is permission. When you keep saying yes against your will, you are telling the world that you are available for everything and anything, and the world believes you. People will keep coming, knocking, demanding, and you will keep giving. Until one day you realize there is nothing left of you. That is the danger of being too nice. It is not just about overcommitting, it is about erasing yourself piece by piece. Learning to say no is not arrogance, it is self-respect. Refusing to do something that feels wrong is not selfish, it is wisdom. Protecting your time, your energy, your mental peace is not rudeness, it is survival. When your heart says no and your mouth also learns to say no, you step into your truth. You show up for yourself the way you have always shown up for others. You start building a life that feels right, not a life that just looks right to everyone else. The first time you say no, it might feel uncomfortable. You might feel guilt rise in your chest. You might hear the echo of old voices telling you that you are being unkind. But with time, you will realize that guilt is not the truth. It is just the discomfort of breaking a habit that never served you. The more you practice, the freer you will feel. And one day, you will look back and realize that every no you said was actually a yes to yourself. Niceness without boundaries leads to self-betrayal, and that is a truth many people learn too late in life. At first, it feels harmless. You tell yourself it's easier to avoid conflict, to keep everyone happy, to avoid being seen as difficult. You convince yourself that your silence keeps the peace, that your sacrifices prove your love, that your willingness to bend shows strength. But slowly, quietly, something begins to break inside you. You realize that by constantly giving in, you are not protecting relationships. You are destroying yourself. What you call being nice is actually a slow erosion of your identity, a silent agreement to betray who you really are. Boundaries are not walls. They are the lines that protect your dignity. They are the invisible fences that tell the world, this is where I end, and this is where you begin. Without them, people walk into your life with dirty shoes, leaving footprints on your soul. They take without asking. They expect without appreciating. They demand without considering. And the worst part is, you allow it because you think that saying yes makes you good and saying no makes you bad. But in reality, every yes that violates your heart is a crack in your self-worth. Think about the times you agreed to something you didn't want to do. Maybe you stayed longer at work when you were already exhausted. Maybe you listened to someone's endless complaints even though you had no energy left. Maybe you said yes to lending money you couldn't spare, or to attending a gathering that drained your spirit. In those moments, what happened to your voice? You buried it under the weight of others' expectations. You told yourself it didn't matter, that it was just one small thing. But each small act of silence, each ignored no, is a seed of betrayal. Those seeds grow into resentment, bitterness, and anger, not at others, but at yourself. When you live without boundaries, you teach people how to treat you. You show them that your time is negotiable, your energy is disposable, your needs are secondary. And because you never speak up, they assume you are fine. They assume you don't mind. They assume you exist to carry their weight. Soon, you find yourself stuck in roles you never agreed to play. The one who always fixes, the one who always listens, the one who always shows up, no matter the cost. And while others feel satisfied, you feel invisible. Self-betrayal is not always loud. It doesn't always look like a dramatic sacrifice. Sometimes it is simply the quiet acceptance of things you don't want. It is smiling when you want to cry. It is nodding when you want to shake your head. It is staying silent when your soul is begging to speak. The longer you live this way, the more disconnected you become from your own truth. You forget what you actually want, what you actually need, because you are so busy living for everyone else. Boundaries are not a punishment to others. They are a gift to yourself. They allow you to protect your energy, to honor your time, to stand by your values. They help you separate kindness from self-sacrifice. They remind you that love without limits is not love, it is surrender. When you learn to draw the line, you stop betraying yourself. You stop agreeing to things that go against your spirit. You start showing up in relationships with honesty instead of resentment. You start choosing authenticity over approval. It takes courage to set boundaries, because not everyone will like it. Some people will call you selfish, some will say you've changed. Some will be upset that they can no longer use you the way they used to. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect your own heart, because if you betray yourself for the sake of others, you will lose both them and you, and nothing is worth that price. Everyday life is filled with moments that test our patience, our faith, and our ability to trust in something greater than ourselves. In these very moments, angels often play a quiet but powerful role. Their work is rarely dramatic in the way movies or stories portray, but it is steady, consistent, and deeply personal. Sometimes it's a sudden change of mind that keeps you from walking into a harmful situation. Sometimes it's an inner nudge that tells you to wait just a little longer before making a decision. Other times it's a stranger who steps into your life at just the right moment with the right words or assistance. These are not accidents. They are often the unseen interventions of God's messengers who are placed around you, guiding and redirecting your path so you don't fall into dangers you cannot yet see. We often underestimate these small interruptions or delays, but they can be the very evidence of angelic protection working quietly in the background of our lives. There are seasons when we feel like we are walking alone through valleys so dark that even hope seems far away. It's in those valleys that angels are closest, though unseen. They walk beside us, holding back forces we cannot fight on our own, shielding us from spiritual harm that would otherwise crush our spirit. Their presence is not always felt in a physical sense, but in the mysterious peace that suddenly surrounds us in the middle of chaos. Think of the moments when you should have broken down, when fear should have overtaken you, yet you found a calmness you could not explain. That peace was not a coincidence. It was a shield placed around you, a heavenly assurance that you were not abandoned. Angels work in these invisible ways, guarding your mind and your spirit, giving you strength to endure storms that would have otherwise destroyed you. At times, protection does not only mean being saved from harm, but also being prepared for what is to come. Angels are not only guards, but also messengers of preparation. They arrange circumstances, align encounters, and open your eyes to lessons you need before stepping into the next stage of your life. This is why delays, closed doors, and unexpected detours can often be blessings in disguise. While you may see them as disappointments, in reality they are acts of protection. An angel may keep you from entering a path not meant for you, because on the other side of that path lies harm or destruction. What seems like a setback may actually be a redirection towards safety, and only when you look back later do you realize that what you thought was loss was really a shield covering you from unseen harm. Even in moments of danger, their presence is unmistakable. How many times have we heard stories of people surviving accidents, disasters, or illnesses against all odds? Doctors may call it a miracle, survivors may describe it as luck. But in the unseen realm, it is often the result of angelic intervention. A hand stronger than human pulled them back. A shield greater than any weapon covered them. A force beyond explanation stood between them and death. These testimonies echo the truth that angels are real, and their mission is to protect those whom God has marked for a greater purpose. And while we may not see their wings or hear their voices, their work surrounds us daily, guarding us from dangers known and unknown, guiding us through paths both light and dark, and reminding us that in every moment we are never truly alone. Kindness is strength, but it must begin with yourself. Too often people confuse kindness with self-denial. They believe that to be kind means to always put others first, to always carry someone else's burden, to always sacrifice their own needs in order to keep others satisfied. But true kindness does not come from emptiness, it comes from wholeness. You cannot pour into others when your own cup is empty. You cannot heal the world if you are bleeding inside. You cannot truly love people if you do not know how to love yourself first. When you neglect yourself in the name of kindness, it eventually turns into resentment. You may smile on the outside, but inside you are exhausted. You may give endlessly, but inside you are longing for someone to finally give back. You may keep showing up for others, but deep down you wonder if anyone would show up for you. That is not kindness. That is self-abandonment, dressed as generosity. It looks noble, but it slowly breaks your spirit. Being kind to yourself means respecting your own needs. It means giving yourself permission to rest when you are tired, to say no when something doesn't feel right, to walk away from people or situations that drain your energy. It means treating yourself with the same compassion you so easily give to others. You forgive others for their mistakes. But do you forgive yourself for yours? You encourage others to chase their dreams. But do you allow yourself the same freedom? You remind others to take care of their health. But do you honor your own body with care and respect? True kindness is not one-sided. It begins within and then flows outward. There is a false belief that putting yourself first is selfish, but selfishness is taking from others without giving back, while self-kindness is taking care of yourself so you can show up more fully for others. A burned-out person cannot serve. A broken soul cannot uplift. A neglected heart cannot love fully. By being kind to yourself, you protect your ability to be kind to the world. You create balance. You create strength. You create resilience. Think about how differently your life feels when you treat yourself kindly. When you rest, your mind becomes sharper, and you can support others with more clarity. When you protect your boundaries, your energy stays intact, and you can give without bitterness. When you allow yourself joy, you radiate positivity, and people around you feel it too. In other words, being kind to yourself does not take away from others. It multiplies the kindness you can share. The world will always demand more from you. There will always be people who expect you to give, to listen, to help, to sacrifice. And while it is beautiful to serve, you must remember that you are human too. You are allowed to step back, to recharge, to heal. Your needs are not less important just because you care for others. In fact, when you show yourself kindness, you are setting an example. You are teaching the people around you that self-care is not weakness, that boundaries are not cruelty, that self-love is not arrogance. Kindness is strength because it requires courage. It requires the courage to see yourself as worthy of care, the courage to say no when necessary, the courage to choose what nourishes you instead of what depletes you. And when you live this way, your kindness to others becomes purer, because it no longer comes from fear or obligation, but from genuine love. True kindness is not about losing yourself for others. It is about honoring yourself so deeply that your love has no choice but to overflow into the lives of those around you. Saying no without guilt is a form of self-respect. Yet many people struggle with it because they have been conditioned to believe that rejection equals cruelty. From a young age, society teaches us that being agreeable makes us good, that being available makes us valuable, that saying yes keeps relationships safe. And so, you carry that belief into adulthood, nodding along to requests you do not want to fulfill, agreeing to plans you dread, committing to responsibilities that drain you. On the surface, it looks like cooperation, but beneath it, your heart is whispering no. And every time you ignore that whisper, you chip away at your own dignity. The truth is, every yes carries a cost. When you say yes to something you do not want, you are saying no to something you do want. If you say yes to working late just to avoid disappointing your boss, you are saying no to rest, no to family, no to your health. If you say yes to a social gathering just because you don't want to upset friends, you are saying no to your own peace, no to your solitude, no to the time you need for yourself. And when you repeat this pattern often enough, your life becomes filled with other people's priorities, leaving no room for your own. Self-respect is built on boundaries, and boundaries are built on the courage to say no. It is not about being harsh or cold. It is about being honest. Saying no with clarity is better than saying yes with resentment. People may not like it in the moment, but over time they will respect you more for it. Because deep down, everyone knows the difference between a genuine yes and a forced yes. They can feel when your smile is heavy, when your presence is reluctant, when your agreement is empty. By saying yes when you want to say no, you are not protecting relationships. You are poisoning them with silent resentment. Guilt is often the biggest barrier to saying no. You feel guilty because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You feel guilty because you don't want to seem selfish. You feel guilty because you've been taught that other people's comfort matters more than your own. But guilt is not always a sign that you are doing something wrong. Sometimes it is simply the discomfort of breaking an old habit. Sometimes it is your mind resisting change because it has been trained to please. When you learn to sit with that guilt, to breathe through it, to remind yourself that your needs are just as valid as anyone else's, the guilt begins to lose its power. The freedom that comes from saying no is worth that discomfort. Suddenly you start to feel light. You start to realize that you have time for things that actually nourish you. You discover the joy of doing what feels aligned. Instead of dragging yourself through obligations that drain you, you begin to build a life that reflects your true values, not just other people's expectations. And in the process, you teach others how to treat you. You show them that your time is valuable, that your energy is not infinite, that your presence is a choice and not an obligation. Some people will resist your no. They may call you selfish, they may try to guilt you, they may accuse you of changing. But their reaction says more about their expectations than about your worth. The people who truly respect you will adjust, and the ones who cannot handle your boundaries were only benefiting from your lack of them. Either way, you gain clarity. You begin to surround yourself with relationships built on respect instead of convenience, honesty instead of pretense. Saying no without guilt is not about rejecting people. It is about choosing yourself. It is about honoring your time, your peace, your energy. It is about refusing to betray your heart for the sake of temporary approval. And once you learn this skill, you realize that no is not a rejection. It is protection. It protects your dignity, your values, your authenticity, and ultimately, it protects your life from being consumed by everything that is not truly meant for you. Shrinking your dreams to make others comfortable is not kindness. It is a quiet way of denying your own purpose. So many people dim their light because they fear that their brightness will offend someone else. They hide their ambitions because they do not want to be seen as arrogant. They hold back their talents because they are scared others will feel small in comparison. What they don't realize is that every time they make themselves smaller, they are not protecting anyone. They are only abandoning themselves. Dreams are not given to you by accident. They are placed in your heart for a reason, and when you bury them to make someone else feel better, you are rejecting the very gift that makes you unique. Think about how many times you have downplayed your goals just to avoid criticism. Maybe you told yourself you don't really need that promotion, even though you worked hard for it because others might feel jealous. Maybe you pretended you were not excited about an opportunity because you didn't want people to think you were bragging. Maybe you told yourself that your dream was too big, too unrealistic, too out of reach, simply because the people around you could not see it the way you did. In those moments, you didn't protect anyone. You just silenced your own calling. The truth is, no one benefits when you play small. People may feel more comfortable when you shrink. But comfort does not inspire. Comfort does not lead. Comfort does not change lives. It is your courage to dream out loud, your willingness to walk boldly in your purpose, that stirs something in others. When you live fully, you give others permission to do the same. When you let your light shine, you show others that they can shine too. By shrinking, you rob not only yourself, but also those who could have been inspired by your example. There will always be people who are uncomfortable with your growth. Some will criticize because they feel threatened. Some will distance themselves because they cannot handle the pace of your journey. Some will try to convince you to stop because they gave up on their own dreams long ago. But their reactions are not a reflection of your worth. They are a reflection of their own fears. If you stop chasing what matters to you just to keep them comfortable, you are living their life instead of your own. And nothing is more tragic than reaching the end of your days and realizing you lived for everyone else's comfort but never for your own purpose. It takes courage to hold on to your dreams when the world pressures you to let go. It takes courage to keep believing in your vision when others laugh, doubt, or criticize. But the measure of your life is not how comfortable others felt around you. It is how true you were to the fire burning inside you. Every dream that is silenced leaves an emptiness, a story untold, a song unsung. And every dream that is pursued, no matter how imperfectly, becomes a testimony of courage. Do not confuse kindness with self-erasure. Kindness is supporting others without abandoning yourself. Kindness is lifting others up while still climbing higher yourself. It is possible to be generous without shrinking, to be humble without hiding, to be compassionate without dimming your own light. The world does not need you smaller. It needs you whole. It needs your vision, your ideas, your passion, and your fire. When you stop shrinking, you stop betraying yourself and start honoring the dream that was placed in your heart for a reason. Stop lowering your voice just so others can be louder, because every time you silence yourself, you are telling your soul that it does not matter. From a young age, many people are taught that staying quiet is the polite thing to do, that speaking up makes you arrogant, that keeping your thoughts hidden keeps the peace. Slowly, that lesson becomes a habit, and you begin to carry it everywhere, in your family, in your relationships, in your workplace, even in your friendships. You find yourself holding back your ideas in meetings because you don't want to seem too bold. You swallow your feelings in conversations because you don't want to upset anyone. You keep your opinions tucked away because you are afraid of being judged. And while the world gets louder, you grow quieter. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you have trained yourself to believe that your voice is less important. The truth is, your voice was never meant to be hidden. It carries your perspective, your wisdom, your experiences, and your truth. Every time you lower it, you shrink your presence in the world. You allow others to occupy the space that was also meant for you. It may seem harmless in the moment, but over time it chips away at your confidence. You start believing that maybe your ideas really aren't good enough. Maybe your feelings really don't matter. Maybe your story really isn't worth sharing. And that is the cruelest effect of silence. It convinces you of lies that were never true. People who are louder are not always more right. People who dominate conversations are not always wiser. Sometimes the loudest voices are just the most persistent ones, not the most valuable. Yet when you keep lowering yourself, you let noise win over truth. You let volume replace substance. You let others decide the narrative, while you stand in the shadows of your own life. Speaking up is not about being rude. It is about being real. It is about giving yourself the permission to exist fully, without apology. It is about allowing your heart to translate into words, even if those words are not perfect. Your voice is not meant to compete with others. It is meant to complement, to challenge, to contribute. And every time you stay silent, the world loses a piece of wisdom it could have learned from you. Think of how many opportunities are lost because of silence. How many times you knew the answer, but didn't raise your hand. How many times you felt uncomfortable but didn't speak up. How many times you wanted to express love, or pain, or hope, but swallowed it instead. Each of those moments is a reminder that your silence does not protect you. It only erases you. When you stop lowering your voice, you start honoring yourself. You begin to realize that your words carry weight, and that weight deserves to be placed on the table with everyone else's. You start seeing that your perspective is not less valuable. It is simply different, and that difference is exactly what makes it powerful. You begin to live with integrity because you are no longer hiding the truth of who you are. Of course, some people will not like it. They are used to your silence. They are comfortable with your compliance. When you finally speak, they may resist. They may call you difficult. They may accuse you of changing. But that is not a sign that you are wrong. It is a sign that your voice is finally being heard. And sometimes the discomfort of others is the clearest proof that you are standing in your power. You do not have to shout to be strong. You do not have to be harsh to be firm. You simply have to stop lowering yourself for the comfort of others. Your voice deserves, your truth deserves volume. Your soul deserves to be heard.
You were not born to please everyone. You were born to live your truth. From childhood, many are conditioned to seek approval, to crave validation, to adjust their choices so others will clap for them. At first it seems harmless, almost natural, because everyone wants to be accepted. But over time, that hunger for approval becomes a prison. You start measuring your worth by how others see you, by how many compliments you get, by how many people are happy with you. Slowly you lose touch with who you really are, because your life becomes a reflection of other people's expectations instead of your own values. Pleasing everyone is impossible. No matter how hard you try, someone will always find fault. If you speak your truth, some will call you bold, others will call you rude. If you stay quiet, some will say you are wise, others will say you are weak. If you choose to follow your dream, some will cheer for you, others will say you are selfish. The same action that earns praise from one person will bring criticism from another. So why waste your life chasing the impossible goal of universal approval? The price you pay is your own authenticity. Living your truth is not about being reckless, it is about being honest. It is about aligning your choices with your values, your actions with your heart, your path with your purpose. It means daring to say, "This is who I am, and I will not apologize for it." It means standing firm in your decisions, even when others do not understand. It means trusting that the people who truly love you will accept your truth, and the ones who don't were never meant to hold space in your life. There is a deep peace that comes when you stop performing for the world. Suddenly you no longer feel the pressure to dress, speak, or act in a way that pleases everyone else. You no longer waste energy trying to fit into boxes that were never designed for you. Instead, you start living from a place of honesty. You say yes when you mean yes, and no when you mean no. You allow yourself to dream boldly without waiting for permission. You allow yourself to fail without drowning in shame. You allow yourself to succeed without apologizing for it. That kind of freedom cannot exist as long as your life is centered on pleasing others. Of course, living your truth has a cost. Some people will leave, some will misunderstand you, some will spread their judgments, because your authenticity threatens the masks they wear. But those who leave were not meant to walk your full journey. And those who stay, the ones who see you, hear you, and love you without conditions, will give you a sense of belonging deeper than the shallow approval of the crowd. The relationships built on truth are the ones that last, because they are grounded in who you really are, not in who you pretend to be. Every day you choose between two lives, the life of approval or the life of authenticity. The first looks easier in the short term but empties you in the long run. The second feels harder in the beginning but fills you with purpose and strength. One keeps you small and tired, the other allows you to grow and breathe. And the beautiful thing is, once you step into your truth, you will attract people, opportunities, and paths that were always meant for you. You were not created to be a mirror of others' expectations. You were created to be a light of your own.